Today, I'm actually doing a double feature movie day. Love it when these days finally come together. But I'm going to Cinemark. It's the closest one to my house. I gotta look at the merch every time I come in here. Cannot wait for Paddington and Peru. I love that series so much. Having an entire Pride Rock as a popcorn bucket, crazy. I would rather go with this Mufasa drum route. It's also $12, a little bit more feasible than the $25. And then Dogman. I like Captain Underpants. I want to say it's made by the same people. Yeah, Dogman. But today, I'm seeing another kind of dog. Wolfman, baby. Ow! Cannot wait to see this movie. Double feature. We got Nosferatu. We got Wolfman. That sounds like a great time at the movies to me. Going into the XD theater, biggest screen possible in this movie theater, and it's a big boy. And I've got it all to myself, baby. Gotta love it. Don't love these Maria Menounos Nuvi ads. Those are nuts, but here are my thoughts on Wolfman. Hey everybody, and welcome to Steelbook Obsessed. My name is Jake, and last night, I was able to do a fun double feature of sorts. I normally don't have the time to do this, but I try to do it at least once a year around Christmas time, around the December, January. That's when a lot of good movies are being released. And I waited until this week because I thought it'd be a very fun time to do a double feature of Nosferatu and Wolfman. Get some of those kind of Universal monsters, you know, kind of Dracula, Nosferatu, that type of monster movie vibe. I'm going to talk about the Wolfman now. If you want to hear my thoughts on Nosferatu, please stay tuned after the credits. This is just a Wolfman specific review here because the movie just came out. And I guess let's waste no more time and talk about it. Woof. I thought about just putting that as my Letterboxd review. I did not enjoy this. I did not think it worked at all. I get what the vibe and tone was supposed to be from Leigh Whannell. And what really upsets me the most is that The Invisible Man. This man knows how to make a great film using these Universal monsters. This was my favorite movie of 2020. Granted, there weren't a lot of movies out that year, but I remember seeing this and completely falling in love with it. So I knew that when he was directing The Wolfman and that it starred people that I really enjoy. Christopher Abbott, I love that he was getting a starring role vehicle for himself to transform into the Wolfman. I like Julie Gardner from Ozark. That's the only thing I've seen her in, but she played such a memorable character in that I'm like, sure, if she's going to be the leading lady in this, the kind of grounded person in this movie, then yeah, I'm all in. Sign me up. Unfortunately, like, not a lot worked here once we actually get going and rolling with the Wolfman specific stuff. I thought, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. This is a spoiler-free review, but I will say that the beginning has a bit of a like backstory element to it that doesn't really get resolved until the end of the movie, I guess. It's hitting upon generational trauma. It's trying to kind of play with the things that happened because of my upbringing are going to make what I do with my children. There might be some correlation between the two. You always want to give your kid a better life than what you had. And that's definitely one of the core elements with this movie. At the end of the day, I don't think it works out that well. I think it's very heavy-handed for sure. And yeah, I'm just bummed. I'm really, really bummed because I thought that before we get to like the main area where the Wolfman stuff starts happening, I thought the first 45 minutes, didn't like the beginning flashback scene, but I thought like when you were in the city and then traveling to the Wolfman stuff, I thought that worked pretty dang well. I enjoyed that aspect, by far my favorite part of the movie. I also heard in interviews leading up to the movie that Leigh Whannell wanted to kind of give a transformation of the Wolfman akin to what David Cronenberg did with The Fly. And I just rewatched The Fly in October when I watched as many horror movie remakes as I possibly could. And I enjoyed The Fly a lot. And one of the great things about that is just seeing the slow process of Jeff Goldblum turning from an already weird guy into this creature that just pops up and absorbs every last second of his insanity to the best of its ability. And it did not work for me here in Wolfman at all. When you're in the werewolf subgenre, you're already kind of playing with a lot of great practical effects. Like, people still point to An American Werewolf in London as one of the best transformations ever done. Howling has some good stuff to it. Hell, Michael Jackson's Thriller has some great transformation elements to it. This, I liked some bits. It didn't go far enough for my liking. It didn't really seem like a wolf man, really. It just kind of seemed like a deformed redneck hillbilly type. And that whole thing, I understand how like city folk might be scared of country folk. I live in the Midwest. I have a lot of country folk. Like, my family is big into that stuff, big into hunting, all of that jazz. So to me, that was a little heavy-handed laying on there, like, oh no, this guy's coming up to us with a gun. And if you live in the city, I get how you'd be a little drawn back because of that. Not a big deal at all. I felt like they were feeding into stereotypical fears there, which was a little cheap in my opinion. And there's a, I don't even know if I want to, it's not spoilerific. They go with a tone here. They go with a choice, a dialogue choice in here that I thought really hurt the film. They wanted the moments on screen to really carry the movie. And for me personally, it did not. There was a lot of weight that was put onto Julie Gardner's shoulders. I did not think she was good in this at all. Very, very stoic when she didn't need to be, very plain-faced, did not show a lot of emotion, and the emotion she did show, I didn't really believe too much. Christopher Abbott's transformation into the Wolfman was fine, but again, there wasn't a lot there. The ending really made me upset just because it kind of calls back to what happened before, and that's where the eye roll started to happen. The final shot of this movie, I literally laughed out loud. I was the only one in the theater, by the way. I saw this at 4:40 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon, and I was the only one in a giant screen, Cinemark XD. It's the biggest screen that you have at the theater. Seats like 300 and something people. I was the only one in there. So I'm kind of glad that I was the only one in there when I laughed, because I never really audibly say anything during a movie. But Leigh Whannell wanted that last shot to be so meaningful, and it just wasn't, especially after all the things that they just went through. Like, this movie made me upset that I wasted time watching it, which is not a feeling you want to have. Again, Leigh Whannell has made great things. I love the Saw franchise with a passion. He wrote a lot of those movies. The Invisible Man, I adored. I thought Upgrade was a fun sci-fi flick. Haven't seen Insidious 3, 4, whichever one he directed. Haven't seen any of the Insidiouses besides the first one. But I'm still looking forward to what he has in store next. Wolfman was a hard one to pull off regardless, and I know Blumhouse has all of those, has that entire Universal Monster stable that they can play with. I kind of wish that they picked something other than the Wolfman for the second outing. I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with all of that, all that delicious IP to play around with. I don't know if Leigh Whannell should stick in that realm, or if I want to see him, I kind of want to see him do something completely different, because he has style up the butt. There just wasn't a lot that you could do with this movie, with this script, with the setting. It was just all kind of samey. And that sameness I did not like. Those are my spoiler-free thoughts. I will be going into more spoilerific discussion after the credits here. I will also again be talking about Nosferatu, which I enjoyed spoilers a lot more than I did the Wolfman. But that's it if you just want the spoiler-free thoughts. There we go. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya. Ow. I got the canines. Kind of look like a wolf man. Hey everybody, if you made it this far, congratulations. You made it to the after credit scene. Good for you. Give it up for yourself. Way to go, you. Normally this is where I talk about a bonus question specifically for people that made it past the credits. But today, we're changing up format a little bit. I will talk about Nosferatu, which, oh my God, I love the fact that I was able to watch this movie in theaters, because I think I only watched it with 5 other people, and it still helped with my thoughts and feelings and love of this movie, just seeing it with others, because everybody that I saw it with really enjoyed themselves, even though I was watching it with strangers. I think the drab atmosphere that Robert Eggers brought to the table with this movie, in interviews he said that he has loved Nosferatu forever. He directed a college play of Nosferatu. Like, this is something he's wanted to make forever, it seems like. And you could really tell he was on top of his craft. All of the characters here I thought were well put on screen. Lily Rose Depp was the only one that I was a little iffy on from time to time, but she also had a lot to do in this movie and a lot to try and make sense of, try to act to the rafters and not end up looking completely insane. So I liked more than what I did, and I thought the third act, I got back on her side. I liked her performance a little bit more because of that. William Dafoe was eating up every piece of scenery he was in that movie. It felt like he was kind of from a different movie, but it's William Dafoe, and you will just kind of accept anything he has to do whenever you can find him on screen. Bill Skarsgård, though, as Count Orlok, holy God. Like, even though I knew it was him going into it, there's only like one shot where like you can kind of see his face and kind of see what Bill Skarsgård normally looks like. Other than that, like, his performance was hauntingly gorgeous. I don't know why people are making a big deal about that mustache. I thought who cares? Who cares if Orlok has a mustache, an 1800s style mustache or not? That seems very silly to me. But I thought like the plague elements in that movie were great. I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was solid. I thought Nicholas Hoult was the star of the movie. Really enjoyed his performance here. And it's really cool to see Nicholas Hoult, like, just seeing him grow as an actor from like a little boy and About a Boy all the way to where he is now. Very fun to watch that rise happen very gradually. And I ended up giving Nosferatu a 4.5 out of 5. I'll pop my Letterboxd review in the main review for Wolfman. I ended up giving Wolfman a 2 out of 5. I just did not like it at all. Like, it's one of the worst experiences ever, when the more you're watching a movie, the more you're just like dragging on and you want it to end because you're not enjoying yourself. It wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun time at all. Nosferatu, on the other hand, enjoyed. Cannot wait to watch it on 4K, because I'm coming around to the realization that maybe I should just wait to watch everything on 4K when I get it in. I love the theatrical experience, don't get me wrong. That's how I fell in love with movies in the first place. But there's something to be said about watching a movie in the best clarity resolution possible. The sound, I don't think I'm ever going to beat in the movie theater, and there were some specific sound choices from the Dolby Atmos setup that I was listening to that were haunting, and it just added to that spookiness element. I need to get a better setup. I only have a sound bar in here. It does not sound anything like what it does in the movie theater. But visually, I think my OLED kind of beats some projectors, especially the little theater I was sitting in for Nosferatu. It sat 40 people. Like, it was a very tiny auditorium. The picture looked good, but I just kept on thinking in the back of my head, those blacks would pop so much more on my OLED TV at home. Like, that's a weird thing to kind of realize as you're watching a movie. I never really thought of that element until this viewing. And the Wolfman, I guess just Wolfman, drop the. That movie is so dark that I think if you watch it at home, I don't think it's going to play that well for a lot of people's setups, because you can't. I would guess at home it'd be very hard to see what the heck is going on. In the theater, it worked. It was fine. But I guess that's another reason not to watch Wolfman, because I don't think it's going to play well at home, unfortunately. It's so dark. Because of course it has to be. You're dealing with the Wolfman who is transforming, kind of going off the werewolf aspect of when it's dark out, when the moon's out, that's when the Wolfman comes out. I guess some spoiler details on Wolfman before we get out of here. The whole like father-son aspect was very heavy-handed, and I don't think it was done that well at all. Where the movie ended up back in the same like tree stand where the movie started out with. Again, generational trauma. We fart and get it, okay? And the dad, Christopher Abbott, is doing the same thing to his daughter that happened with his dad and himself as a kid. Like, so heavy-handed. I did not like it whatsoever. And then the final shot of them looking at that sunrise in the cavern where his dad at the beginning of the movie said, there's not a lot of places on earth like this that give you the feeling that this view gives. Like, it was so hammy and tongue-in-cheek and so just, we get it already, that I laughed. Because after everything that they went through, after them having to kill their father, their significant other, to be like, everything's gonna be all right, huh? While they're looking at this scenery. It was dumb. It was dumb. I did not like it whatsoever. But I do like how, in my collection, when I add Nosferatu to the collection, I don't know if I will want to add Wolfman, honestly. It'll be nice to rip these in half and have the double feature in my physical media 4K of Nosferatu. It's a memory that I love to have every year. I'd love to do double features more. It's just not in the cards as much as I want it to be. But let me know your thoughts on Wolfman, on Nosferatu, if you saw that, in the comments, please. And we're going to end with Invisible Man. I have a Wolfman steelbook somewhere, I guess. Can I reach it? I see it. It's all the way over there. I cannot. Sorry. You get Invisible Man. This steelbook is very cool, by the way. Front, back. I think the inside is pretty neat, too. Got that Elizabeth Moss goodness. Let's zoom into that Elizabeth Moss goodness.